The diner's neon sign flickered, casting a red glow across Elliot's face as he stood frozen on the sidewalk, his camera trembling in his hands. He was 17, lanky, with eyes that held too many secrets for a small-town kid in Willow Creek, Pennsylvania. Tonight, he'd upload his truth to the world or lose his nerve again. Elliot had always been the quiet one, the kid who slipped through life like a shadow. At school, he was the guy who ate lunch alone, sketching in his notebook or filming the world through his second-hand Canon. At home, he was Tom Harper's son Tom, the town's best mechanic, a man of few words and fewer emotions, who loved Elliot but never knew how to say it. Their house on Maple Street was a shrine to routine: dinner at 6, TV at 7, silence by 8. But beneath that silence, Elliot was building something extraordinary, a YouTube channel called Quiet Truths, where he poured out his heart in videos no one in Willow Creek knew existed. He'd started it a year ago, after his mom left. She'd packed her bags one rainy April night, leaving a note that said she needed to find herself. Tom never talked about it, and Elliot didn't ask. Instead, he turned to his camera, filming late at night in his bedroom, whispering stories about his life, his dreams, and the secret he'd buried so deep it hurt to breathe. He was gay. In a town where the church steeple loomed larger than any skyscraper, coming out felt like signing his own exile. So, he spoke to the internet instead, to strangers who left comments like, "You're not alone," and "Keep going, kid." His channel had grown 10,000 subscribers, then 50, now nearly 100,000. They didn't know his real name, but they knew his heart. Tonight, though, was different. Elliot had filmed his most vulnerable video yet, one that could change everything. He called it "The Truth About Me." In it, he'd bared his soul, his love for a boy named Jamie, the barista at the diner, his fear of his father's reaction, his hope for a world where he could be himself. He'd edited it for weeks, agonizing over every frame, every word. Now, standing outside the diner where Jamie worked, he felt like he was teetering on a cliff. Upload it, and his life might shatter. Hide it, and he'd suffocate under the weight of his own silence. Inside the diner, Jamie was wiping down the counter, his blonde hair falling into his eyes. He was 19, a community college dropout who'd stayed in Willow Creek to help his mom with bills. He and Elliot had met last summer, when Elliot started filming the diner's retro jukebox for a video. Jamie had teased him about his fancy camera, and somehow, their banter turned into late-night talks, stolen glances, and a kiss behind the diner that left Elliot dizzy. Jamie was out, unapologetically himself, but he never pushed Elliot to be the same. "You'll know when you're ready," he'd said, his voice soft but sure. Elliot's phone buzzed in his pocket, a text from Jamie. "You okay out there? Looks like you're about to bolt." Elliot smiled despite himself, but his heart pounded. He typed back, "Just thinking." He didn't say what he was thinking, that uploading this video might mean losing his dad, the only family he had left. Tom Harper was a man forged by hard work and harder losses. He'd grown up in Willow Creek, married his high school sweetheart, and built a life he thought would last forever. When she left, he buried his pain in his garage, fixing cars until his hands bled, as if he could repair his broken family the same way. He loved Elliot fiercely, but he didn't know how to reach him. His son was a mysterious, quiet, artistic kid who seemed to live in a world Tom couldn't touch. Sometimes, he'd catch Elliot filming the sunset or editing on his ancient laptop, and he'd feel a pang of pride mixed with fear. What was his boy hiding? That night, as Elliot stood outside the diner, Tom was across town, closing up Harper's auto shop. He wiped his hands on a rag, his mind on the bills piling up and the ache in his chest that never went away. He didn't know Elliot was about to press upload on a video that would force him to confront his own prejudices, his own failures as a father. He didn't know that his son's quiet rebellion was about to change their lives forever. Elliot took a deep breath, his thumb hovering over the upload button. The diner's neon sign buzzed louder, like it was urging him on. He thought of Jamie's laugh, his mom's absence, his dad's silence. Then he thought of the thousands of strangers who'd found courage in his videos. This is for them, he told himself. And for me. He pressed the button. The video went live at 7:32 p.m. By morning, it would have 10,000 views. By the end of the week, it would reach 1 million. And by the time Tom saw it, nothing would ever be the same. The next morning, Willow Creek woke to its usual rhythm, the diner's coffee brewing, the church bells ringing, the hum of pickup trucks on Main Street. But for Elliot, the world felt different. His video was out there, raw and unfiltered, and he couldn't take it back. He sat at the kitchen table, picking at his cereal, his phone face down to avoid checking the views. Tom was already at the garage, oblivious to the storm brewing online. Elliot's stomach churned with a mix of relief and dread. What if someone from town saw it? What if his dad did? At school, Elliot kept his head down, avoiding the usual taunts from kids like Derek, the football captain who'd once called him that weird camera kid. But today, something was off. A few classmates whispered as he passed, their eyes lingering too long. By lunch, his phone was buzzing with notifications, comments, likes, shares. Quiet Truths was trending, and the internet was ablaze with reactions to the truth about me. Some called him brave. Others called him names he tried to ignore. One comment stopped him cold. Wait, is this the kid from Willow Creek? I go to his school. His heart sank. The secret was slipping out. Jamie met him after school at the diner, his smile a lifeline. You did it, Elle, he said, sliding into the booth across from him. That video, it's incredible. Elliot blushed, but his hands shook. What if it gets back to my dad? He's not like you. He doesn't get this stuff. Jamie reached across the table, his fingers brushing Elliot's. He's your dad. He loves you. Give him a chance. But Tom Harper wasn't a man who handled change well. That evening, he was at the garage, working late on a busted carburetor, when his buddy Mike dropped by with a six-pack and a grin. You seen what's going viral, Tom? Some kid from town's got a YouTube channel blowing up. Sounds like your boy. Tom frowned, wiping grease from his hands. Elliot. Nah, he's just messing with that camera of his. Nothing serious. Mike pulled out his phone and played the video. Tom's face went pale as Elliot's voice filled the garage, confessing his love for Jamie, his fear of rejection, his hope for acceptance. Tom didn't say a word. He turned back to the carburetor, his jaw tight. Mike shifted uncomfortably. You okay, man? That's your kid, right? Tom nodded, his voice low. Yeah, that's my kid. But inside, he was reeling. His son was gay. And he'd told the whole damn world before telling his own father. Tom felt betrayed, angry, confused. He'd grown up in a world where men like him didn't talk about feelings, let alone this. He didn't know how to process it, so he did what he always did. He worked. Elliot, meanwhile, was spiraling. The video had hit 1 million views, and Willow Creek was starting to notice. At the diner, Mrs. Carter, the town gossip, cornered him. Is it true? Elliot. That video everyone's talking about. Her tone was sharp, judgmental. Elliot mumbled an excuse and fled, his heart racing. He didn't go home. Instead, he went to Jamie's apartment, a cramped studio above the hardware store. Jamie pulled him into a hug, and for a moment, Elliot felt safe. "I'm proud of you," Jamie whispered. "But you need to talk to your dad." Elliot shook his head. "He'll hate me." Jamie's eyes softened. "He won't. He's just stuck. Like my mom was at first. Give him time." But time was the one thing Elliot didn't have. That night, a group of kids from school posted screenshots of his video online, tagging him with slurs. By morning, the whole town would know. Tom didn't sleep that night. He sat in his recliner, the TV off, his phone glowing with Elliot's video paused on the screen. He'd watched it 3 times, each word cutting deeper. Elliot's voice was steady but fragile, talking about love, fear, and a boy named Jamie. Tom didn't know Jamie, didn't want to. But he knew the look in his son's eyes scared, hopeful, desperate. It was the same look Elliot had when his mom left. Tom hadn't known how to fix that either. He thought about his own father, a steelworker who'd taught him that men were supposed to be tough, not soft. Tom had tried to be that man, but it hadn't kept his wife from leaving or his son from hiding. He wanted to be angry at Elliot, at the world, but all he felt was shame. He'd failed his boy. He hadn't seen the pain behind those quiet eyes. At school, Elliot's world was unraveling. The whispers had turned into stares, then taunts. Derek and his friends cornered him in the hallway, their words venomous. "So, you're famous now, huh? Freak." Elliot clutched his camera like a shield, but it didn't help. By the end of the day, someone had spray-painted a slur on his locker. He didn't tell anyone, not even Jamie. Instead, he filmed a new video, his voice shaking as he spoke to his subscribers. "I thought coming out would free me. But now I'm just scared." That video went viral too, amplifying the chaos. Support poured in from strangers online, but so did hate. Elliot's inbox filled with messages, some kind, some cruel. One email stood out, from a woman named Sarah in California, who wrote, "Your videos saved my son. He came out to me because of you. Thank you." Elliot read it over and over, clinging to it like a lifeline. Tom, meanwhile, was grappling with his own storm. At the garage, customers whispered about the Harper kid. Some offered support, others didn't. Pastor John from the church stopped by, his face grim. "You need to talk to your boy, Tom. This lifestyle isn't right." Tom's temper flared. "He's my son," he snapped. "Don't tell me what's right." It was the first time he'd defended Elliot, and it felt strange, like trying on someone else's skin. That night, Tom drove to the diner, hoping to find Elliot. Jamie was there, cleaning tables. Tom hesitated, then approached. "You're Jamie, right?" Jamie nodded, wary. "I'm Tom. Elliot's dad." The air was thick with tension. Jamie straightened, his voice steady. "He's a good kid, Mr. Harper. He's just trying to be himself." Tom didn't know what to say. He left without another word, his heart heavy. Elliot didn't go home that night. He stayed at Jamie's, curled up on the couch, his camera beside him. The hate online was growing, but so was the support. His videos were reaching people he'd never imagined, kids like him, parents, even teachers. A local news station picked up the story, calling him Willow Creek's viral voice. Elliot didn't feel like a voice. He felt like a kid who'd made a mistake. Tom was losing patience. He'd called Elliot's phone a dozen times, left voicemails that went unanswered. Finally, he drove to Jamie's apartment, banging on the door at midnight. When Jamie answered, Tom's voice was rough. "Where's my son?" Elliot appeared, pale and tired. "Dad." Tom cut him off. "Get in the truck. We're going home." The ride was silent, the air thick with unspoken words. At home, Tom finally spoke. "Why didn't you tell me? Why'd I have to find out from a damn video?" Elliot's eyes filled with tears. "I thought you'd hate me." Tom's heart broke. He wanted to hug his son, to say he was sorry, but the words wouldn't come. Instead, he said, "I don't hate you. I don't understand." The next day, Elliot's school called a meeting. The principal, Mrs. Larson, had seen the videos and the vandalism on his locker. She wanted to help, but didn't know how. Derek's parents were there, defensive, claiming their son was just joking. Elliot sat quietly, his camera in his lap, until he couldn't take it anymore. "I'm not sorry for who I am," he said, his voice steady. "I'm sorry you don't get it." The room went silent. Tom, sitting beside him, felt a surge of pride he didn't expect. That night, Tom watched every video on Quiet Truths. He saw his son's pain, his courage, his love for Jamie. He saw himself, to a father who'd been too busy fixing cars to fix his relationship with his son. He cried for the first time since his wife left, the tears hot and unfamiliar. Spring came to Willow Creek, softening the edges of the town's harsh winter. Elliot's videos kept growing, and so did his courage. He and Jamie started going out publicly, holding hands at the diner, ignoring the stares. The hate hadn't stopped, but neither had the support. A local LGBTQ group reached out, inviting Elliot to speak at their annual gala. He was terrified, but said yes. Tom was changing, too. He started talking to Elliot not just about cars or school, but about life. He asked about Jamie, about the videos, about what Elliot wanted for the future. It was awkward at first, like learning a new language, but it was a start. Tom even went to therapy, something he'd once scoffed at, to unpack his own fears and biases. He wasn't perfect, but he was trying. The gala was held in a community center downtown, decorated with rainbow flags and fairy lights. Elliot stood at the podium, his camera on a tripod filming it all. He spoke about his journey, his fears, and the love that kept him going. Jamie sat in the front row, beaming. Tom was there, too, in the back, his eyes wet. When Elliot finished, the room erupted in applause. Tom stood, clapping louder than anyone, his heart full. Later, at home, Elliot uploaded his final video to Quiet Truths. It was simple, just him and Tom sitting on their porch, talking. "This is my dad," Elliot said to the camera. "He's learning, like I am. And that's enough." Tom's voice was gruff but warm. "I'm proud of you, El. Always will be." The video ended with them watching the sunset, a quiet moment of healing. Elliot's channel kept growing, but he didn't need it as much anymore. He'd found his voice, his love, his family. Tom, too, had found something a way to love his son, not just as a father, but as a friend. Willow Creek wasn't perfect, but it was home. And for the first time in years, it felt like enough.